What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today is going to be sort of my official review. Sorry I'm driving. I don't get to do this much while I'm at home because my kids are all over me, but I'm going to do my review of the Tomei unequal length headers for the 2016. Wow. Jesus, I can't even speak. Okay, so I'm going to do a review on the Tomei unequal length headers for the 2015 to 2020 Subaru WRX, more for the FA20. So we have an FA20, these will fit supposedly. It's hot as shit. So I'm gonna do a little bit of review, things that I've noticed, and then I'm also gonna get some wide open throttle pulls and some revs at different RPMs. For a couple of you have asked for different revs at different RPM ranges. So the headers, they did get a lot quieter. I mean, they're still loud, but after a little bit of driving and settling them in, it was a little bit too much for me at first, but then once it toned down just that tad bit, it's quite all right with me now. One thing I was noticing whenever the headers were first put on the car was I was getting a check engine light for a downstream O2 sensor. We also did an air oil separator, so on top of that we did the top end engine cleaning to get any of the gunk out of there. So I feel that a lot of that gunk that was dislodged got somehow faulted out the downstream O2 sensor. I was also getting a little bit of dynamic advanced multiplier. I was getting a little bit of feedback there. It would hit as low as 0.875, which when talking to Drunkmann, that was in a nothing to worry about parameter. Also the knock, I would notice as the minimal was negative 1.41, which doesn't even register. You know, I got gas, $5 fill up at a gas station local to me that I won't mention, but it registered knock at negative 1.41 just like that, so it didn't really mean too much to me when it picked that up. Did get the downstream O2 sensor replaced, and was trying to sort through a few things just to make sure that it was running properly before I took it to the dyno and wasted money to put it on the rolling road to find out there was an issue. So I'm not saying that won't still happen, because it's, you know, the nature of the beast when you start modifying cars, but I wanted to get it as close as I possibly could to my satisfaction. Here we go. I don't know how much of that you guys saw. I was trying to hold it as steady as I could, but she does pull like a freaking freight train all the way at 19 pounds, which is what Drunkmann had tuned me for. I could see it in the Accessport. He had put it at a 19.5 peak boost, so it's about 18.8 to 19 on a good day, especially in this Florida heat. What I've noticed also to this point, this spool takes a little bit longer when you're in the lower RPM range. Like if you're just starting to get it up there at first, second, third, and then you give it that throttle, you don't get that instant kick like you would from the equal length headers, which was fine because I don't dog it, I don't race it, and it, you know, that kind of time is not detrimental to my driving experience at this point. So that didn't matter much to me, but you know, after about 3,000 RPM, it really kicks in. So I don't feel any power loss. My turbo hasn't blown up. My twin scroll hasn't destroyed itself. The motor hasn't exploded. My cylinder 4 hasn't detonated. My ringlands haven't failed. What are the douchebags saying? All the common stuff that everybody's saying will happen. It hasn't happened to me yet up to this point. I don't do too much driving. Wow, sorry. Anyway, I don't do too much driving. It sits Monday through Friday. I go. It's awesome. I'm still happy with my purchase up to this point. The noise level, if you don't like straight pipe cars, that's exactly what this is. It's a straight pipe car all the way out, quad exhaust tips, 3.5 inch, and I mean they're double walled, so it's pretty much as quiet as it's gonna get on the setup that I have. You want it quieter than that, you want to really experience the rumble, I would say add resonators. I did get a few scary messages like, hey man, can I run these headers no tune? I really want them. Please don't do that. Don't be that guy. And don't give any of these guys out here a reason to put a label on you, bro. It costs extra. This whole thing is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. It is fun, but it has to be done the right way. And if you don't, you're gonna have a very, very, very hard, troublesome experience in Subarus or modifying anything, really. That's just being honest. This is my 4th Subaru, it's not my 1st. 3 EJs, and I was absolutely done. Got myself an Infinity, told my wife I was gonna grow up and be a dad-like, well, drive a dad-like vehicle for my kids' sake. Ended up picking up this WRX, wanted to see what it was all about. Loved it. And then Tomei came out with the headers, and I was like, you know what? Everybody's saying no. I like scientific facts. You have to do trials and experiments before you can really come upon a great discovery. So if it explodes my engine or my turbo, you guys are going to find out. If it doesn't, you guys are also going to find out. What I'm trying to do with this setup is make it as, and I say this with a grain of salt, but I'm going to try to make it as efficient as possible. For those of you that want to run this, you're not concerned about being the fastest guy out there. You want your car to look good, you want it to sound good, you want it to perform okay, not worse than it originally did, which it definitely does not perform worse. My gas mileage is still at, looks like right now, because I did a quick little trip and some pulls, at 23.5 miles to the gallon. However, going to and from work on the highway, I'll average 29, 31. That's not uncommon. My neighbors, I can tell you, thank goodness it's Memorial Day weekend, because they would absolutely, they haven't really heard this yet, but they're going to hear it tomorrow since I'm off, so we'll see what my neighbors have to say about that. Stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Thank you for all the support that I've already gotten. You guys are wonderful. That's stinking sick. But definitely smash that subscribe button, click the notifications if you want to stay up to date as far as making this efficient as you possibly can. Everybody knows, or you should know, that modifying your vehicle does not make it any more efficient. I don't care what anybody says, oh, it makes the car breathe better. If it's not designed to run the way that it came from the manufacturer, then it is unreliable. All those parts were designed to run on that car for a specific reason. When you start throwing stuff on there to make it faster, you ultimately make the car less reliable, regardless of what you do to make it fast reliable. So keep that in mind. But thank you again. For those of you watching, that Subaru is not my friend. They are, in fact, a prick bag that lives in my neighborhood who doesn't know what a Subaru wave means. So if you're a Subaru owner and you don't know what the wave means, eat a butthole, bro.